You're tuned into Balanced Life. Your Balanced Life podcast with Dr. Chris Byles, a space for people who want more energy, better recovery, calmer days, and long-term health without the hype or confusion. Here, we talk about nutrition, fitness, stress, habits, hormones, and everyday wellness in a way that feels practical, supportive, and real-life focused. Because supplements aren't the goal, your lifestyle, your strength, and your well-being are. This is about intentional health and a life lived in balance. Welcome to a balanced life. Welcome to a balanced life.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to a Balanced Life podcast. I am your host, Dr. Chris Byles, in the place to be here every Friday, 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, and I hope that you're all having a great day. All right, now we've been talking about a lot of different things since I started this whole podcast, and we're going to continue on that road, right? And we're going to take a quick little detour before continuing on this conversation or this journey of health and wellness. And we're going to be talking about something that I've mentioned multiple times throughout this podcast, and that is about supplementation. Okay. So we've talked about it briefly. You've heard me talk about it lots of times. You guys already know who I like in this realm of, supplementation, but we're going to talk about it, right? Don't take my word for things. I want you to do your research. So we're going to be talking about quickly the truth about supplements and how to choose quality products. Okay. I believe it's very important that you want to look into everything that you're putting into your body. You want to research it. You want to study it. You want to scrutinize it. And if there's something that doesn't jive, I would say that it's smart to step back and find something else or discontinue what you're using. I've done that plenty of times in my life. This is your body, right? And I think in everything that we do, we should want to really focus on what we're putting in our body, from food all the way down to supplementation. Okay. Just like all food is not the same, for those of you who are into eating organic, right? At some point you may have been going to getting fast food, what have you, whatever the case may be, whatever your journey started at. Now you're eating organic, whole foods, right? Which is all we all should be striving for, right? But we didn't get there right away. Maybe certain products, you just used to go grab the product, and now you actually take the time to read the ingredients and the labels. Okay, that goes the same thing with supplementation. Just because you may not be sure about something, you want to educate yourself on supplementation. Now, many people will walk into stores, shop online, and see hundreds of supplements, right? Just think about this. You'll see there are supplements at the grocery store. You can go to GNC, you can go to Vitamin Shop, you can go to different places, you can go online and shop. There are many different companies out there, or supplements out there that you can go, and if you're not really sure what you're looking for, some of the key things, and that's what we're going to talk about today, some of the key things to look for, you're going to be overwhelmed, right? And it's the same thing like when you go even look for something like simple as barbecue sauce. Okay, you may have loved Hunt's for your entire life, but then you go look at it, you see there's some really questionable ingredients in it. None of our food, none of our stuff should have multiple products or ingredients in it that, of course, something you cannot pronounce, right? Something that's questionable. You don't want to be taking something that you put into your body, because our body is very sensitive, and it's so sensitive to the point of it's sensitive and strong at the same time, right? So taking something from garbage, it's not going to affect you immediately. Okay, it's going to take some time, over time, right? Putting the food in our mouth. People didn't get diabetes overnight. Maybe it's continuously the way they eat. People don't get injured overnight. Well, sometimes, but usually it's a buildup of things that we're doing wrong to our bodies that can cause these things. Okay. I know people that sneeze and injure themselves, right? But it's you get my point. Okay. So many people, you can really just walk into a store, shop online, and see hundreds of supplements, right? Whether it's magnesium, vitamin B complex, chlorella, probiotics, collagen. I mean, the list is endless. What do I take? What do I take? What do I take? Um, the assumption most consumers make is simple. If it's on the shelf, it must be good. Okay, and if you are have had any type of experience in your health or your health journey over some time, you know that's not the case, right? You have to pivot into reality. All right, supplements are not all created equal. Okay, supplements are not all created equally. Two bottles with the same ingredients on the label can be completely different in quality. Okay, quality, right? Quantity isn't one thing, quality is another. The difference usually comes down to manufacturing, ingredient sourcing, and testing. Okay, so today I want to help us all understand how to evaluate supplements so that you can make better decisions about what you put in your bodies. All right. Now, before we begin, as always, let me begin with saying this information is for educational purposes only. No way does it constitute any type of medical advice whatsoever. If you have any need for medical supervision whatsoever, please go see your doctor once immediately. That is your normal primary doctor as well as a naturopathic doctor. And I want you to start thinking about that as well. I want you to take this information for even looking at for your doctors, right? Um, just chiropractors and all different types of things out there. Research what you're going to do to your body or in your body. Okay. So now let's look at this. Now the supplement industry has been growing, right? The supplement industry is massive and rapidly growing. Okay. It's $1 billion a year industry. It's actually heading toward the trillions. Okay. Now, with that being said, many companies are focused on health and scientific formulation. Many are. Okay. A lot of those companies are not mainstream, but many are really focused on health and scientific formulation. Others are focused primarily on speed to market and cost reduction. Okay. So, just what I said, they'll probably use subpar ingredients to get their products out there. Okay. So, but this becomes a big challenge for us as consumers. Most consumers don't know how to evaluate manufacturing standards, ingredient quality, purity testing, right? And formulation. So I want you to, when you're looking at products, sometimes many times when we're looking and we're going, we may look because the label is pretty, it looks impressive, right? But the real quality determine this, to determine behind the scenes, look behind the scenes, right? So let's talk about what consumers should actually look for. Okay, what do we look for when we're looking for supplementation? And I think I would say, honestly, this what I'm about to tell you is going to be something that you should do no matter what you're doing. Even looking for your dog's food. Okay, you want to look for quality over what looks good, and then don't get confused by stuff that you don't understand. We all got one of these in our pockets. It takes nothing to actually now scan the barcode. There's apps that scan barcodes, but it takes nothing but to look up words in certain things and see what it comes from, what it derives from. Okay, and then also you can look in the research of the company. Many companies nowadays, because we've had so many class action lawsuits, they'll put certain information on their website or on their labels to let you know that hey, they're pretty legit. Okay, so let's first talk about manufacturing standards. Now, this is something that when you look on the label, you'll see something called the GMP. I actually wish I had dang it, I'm in the middle of a move right now, so I don't have all my stuff in front of me. But GMP, capital G, capital M, capital P. Now, high quality supplements are typically typically produced in facilities that follow good manufacturing product practices, often called GMP standards. Okay, so look at that. They follow good manufacturing practices, GMP. These standards help ensure controlled manufacturing environments. That means that they're not in a dirty environment, right? That's going to make sure that you're having accurate ingredient measurements. Many times, there's been companies that have said that they've had one thing inside their supplement, and then when the actual testing comes, they're not even nowhere near the amount of supplements, or nowhere near the amount of uh, ingredients or what measurements that's in an ingredient. Okay. Um, they have consistent product batches. That means every time batch they create, no matter what it is consistent across the board. And also within a good manufacturing practice, they're also clean, and quality is, there's no oversight. They're looking into it. Okay. So without these systems in place, there's a greater risk of inconsistent products or contamination. Okay. So if you don't see GMP on your product, number one, that should be a red flag for you. Okay. So you want to make sure you see GMP on the product. Okay. Um, Number two, third party testing. I've mentioned this multiple times. The company we use, that's why we use, or we are sponsored by this company, Balanced Life Supplements, because they actually do third party testing. Not every company that's out there does third party testing. Um, and even you got to be careful too when they say that, because yeah, they say they have third party testing, but then there's a list to come out. There was just a list most recently, and there was many companies on there that was listed that had lead in their product. Okay. Um, Now understand this, that certain foods that we eat carry the same contaminants sometimes because they don't follow these same quality, these same things, right? And even if they are FDA approved, that doesn't mean anything, unfortunately. So third party testing. So third party testing means an independent laboratory verifies a product. An independent laboratory comes in and verifies the product. Now, unless there's always something that could happen, but let's say these independent laboratory is paid for by the actual, or like a owner, or a part of the company of these, what I mean, the certain supplement companies. Then most times when they say they're third party tested, you can really believe that. There's multiple companies out there. I'm not going to go name all the names of these companies, but there are multiple companies out there that actually legitimately third party testing, and I've taken some of them before. Like, as obvious reasons, I can't really talk about these companies now, but um, right, it's important. These labs can test for heavy metals, contaminants, ingredient purity, and potency. Okay, so if they say they have 300 milligrams of beta alanine, they're not that low anymore. 3,000 milligrams of beta alanine in your pre-workout, right? That's the stuff that makes you itchy. Um, when they test it, it's only 200, right? Or the bigger one, the multivitamins. They may say, which is, they may say they have 100 milligrams, which is low dose, 100 milligrams of vitamin C. They test it, well, it's really only got 10 milligrams of vitamin C, right? So that's the potency that they're looking at. A company may claim quality, they may claim it, right? Advertisements, especially if they're big companies online, or in the stores that you see. There are multiple ones I can think of right now. But even if they're online, or they have brick and mortar shops or what have you, or they're being sold by your local vitamin store or what have you, they can claim quality, right? But independent testing adds verification, right? I may tell you that um, I bench press 500 pounds. Well, you can only take my word of it until you actually see it being done, right? And also, here's the other part: test the weights, make sure you're not using fake weights or what have you. That's the same thing, right? Um, there's certain things with your food. If you've ever seen the exposés on the news where they've gone into the restaurants that say they're serving certain types of fish, and they test the fish, and it's not what they say they tested, right? So these restaurants are lying to you because why? Because it's drawing their profit because they're why they're doing this. They're drawing profit from this. So we need to be careful, not just with our supplements, right? Many people, for whatever reason, will only go and directly um, dwell on supplements, right? Because for whatever reason, supplementation, health altogether has been has been damaged as far as I'm concerned, right? Um, but but then they get mad when you do that to the food or what have you, right? Even your medication, if you're on taking any type of medication, you have to trust that the doctors or the pharmaceutical industry, which is a multi-trillion-dollar industry, right? You have to be certain or sure that what the pharmaceutical industry is telling you is legit, and what they're saying you have to take on face value because they don't tell you anything. Just because the FDA approves it doesn't mean that it's tested third party, right? There's been many cases where um, you can go look. There's been lawsuits for people that's been damaged or hurt by medication or vaccinations or what have you, and because you have no way to see a third party tested, even if the pamphlet tells you what's in it, you're not knowing. You're just taking the word of the doctor, right? Which is interesting, and I'm just going to say this: it's just interesting that there's not much more scrutiny for the pharmaceutical industry, but there's a lot of scrutiny for the supplement industry. But I digress. So the third party testing increases transparency and accountability. If you don't get anything from the day, get that. And you should really have, like I said in the beginning, you should really have that mentality no matter what you put in your body, right? It could be the eggs, right? If you look and you see that the eggs are being manufactured someplace else and not coming from an actual chicken, right? You want to know these practices. Or if you see that um, the if you see that uh, uh, you hear stories about fast food restaurants not serving you quality food. There's no third party testing for these things, right? You can go online and just type in and see that certain fast foods, um, even the ones that's been on online lately, that's testing their products uh, for everybody to see. There's been stories about food from the 20 years ago that still hasn't decomposed. But unfortunately, people are still eating them, but they're not testing out these things or listening to these things. You really want to be careful about everything that's being put in your body, not just supplementation. Okay, I digress again. All right. So you have to be really critical about the ingredients. Now, that's what a beautiful thing about going to the grocery store, which I wish more of us would do as a whole. Even if you can't cook, go to the grocery store, go to YouTube, find a way to cook, because at least when you go to the store, you know the ingredients, you know what's in it, and you know what you're putting in your body, right? And as you go along on your journey, you can tweak things to really make sure you're getting a high quality product. There are many people out there that's done it, and some of them are really good places in their life and their journey. I don't care what diet you're on, um, and I hate to use the word diet, or what journey you're on with your food. You should really make sure that you do this research, you should study, and you should see. Like sometimes I've changed multiple times about the way I eat over the years um, because of my religious beliefs. There's certain things I don't eat. I know I'm not Muslim. Um, there's certain things that I don't eat, but even because of my health, there's some things that have over the years changed in how they used to be and to how we get them now. And me and my family decided to just bypass certain things and go a different route. But it's all due to you, all, us. It's all due to research and testing stuff out, and not just taking anybody's word for it. Not taking my word for it, but going there doing the research for yourself. Go get multiple sources, see what happens, see the origins of stuff, blah blah blah. Okay. But it's so important because the ingredient transparency is going to explain how um, the labels tell a story. It's going to tell you how labels tell a story, right? So as we're talking about supplementation, exact ingredient is going to a quality supplement label should clearly state exact ingredient amounts, specific nutrient forms, serving size information, right? How would you know that 2 dates are 140 calories unless if there was actually correct serving size information on there, right? Or how would you not? How would you not? How would you know these things if it wasn't on the label, right? Dates very good for you, right? They're great fiber, but high in calories. So after you eat 7 dates, you probably hit off the top of my head on math sucks, but about 700 calories for 7 dates. You can get 700 calories with some good quality food, a whole meal, right? And if you map it out right, you're gonna get your nice high protein. You're gonna get your high protein, your carbs, and your healthy fats all in there. It's macro friendly, right? And I would encourage you all, if you haven't, understand macros, know your macros. Okay, we talked about that before. All right, I keep jumping. I keep digressing. I apologize. Let me get back on track. All right, so quality supplement labels should clearly state exact ingredient amounts, specific nutrient forms, and serving size information. All right. So you should have a red flag when you're looking at this when you see some words. So some products hide behind what's called proprietary blends, where you're not going to see exact amounts. So if you see proprietary blend on your back of your supplements, boom, red flag. Don't do it. Right. You need to see every single ingredient and how much is in every single ingredient that you see. Okay, transparency allows consumers to know exactly what they're taking. All right, all right. One more point, and then we'll take a break. So now, after you know about the testing, the transparency, you want to look at the bioavailable nutrient forms. And what does that mean? Not all forms of nutrients are equally utilized by the body. Okay, your body's not going to be able to take all of them, right? And you need to know what you're eating in your diet because, again, like I'm said before, right? Supplementation should just be just that, so to supplement what you're not getting from your normal diet. I want all of us, 100%, to get every single thing from their diet, from your food. If you can eat every single thing, all your nutrients, and get all your nutrients and your vitamins and all these type of things from your diet, boom, nothing else needs to be said. But unfortunately, we live in a world where everything is overly processed, right? Minerals and stuff is taken out of the water. We're not getting enough sun outside because we're inside too much. You need vitamin D, right? We've been told that the sun is bad for you. It causes cancer, right? And then they give you all these different things that slather on your body, and you don't look at the ingredients because the ingredients have certain chemicals anyway. And your biggest organ, if you did not know, is your skin. Okay, so we're putting a lot of stuff in our body, not testing it, not looking at the ingredients, not um, I have a friend. We have a friend of a family that says trust but verify. We're not trusting. We're not verifying. We're just trusting. Okay, so it's the same thing. If we were getting everything from our environment, there would be no need for supplementation. Okay, herbs, those things. If you read the Bible, I keep going back to the Bible. Again, you don't have to believe it or not. I know people out there that say nasty things about the Bible. Um, all I can say is just read it. But there are certain things in the Bible talks about the food is your medicine, right? The food has always been our medicine from a very long time ago. Unfortunately, our food is, I hate to say it, a lot of the food, especially commercial food, is garbage now, and we're not getting any medicinal purposes out of it. Um, that's why you go to certain countries, even way back before the medical industry took over in this country, they would go get, when they were sick, they would get the herbs, right? Supplementation, if that's done properly, is just from the herbs of the earth put up into to form. Now, if you are understand how the herbs and foraging, all that stuff like that, and you can go out there and grab some certain types of edible herbs and everything, cook them up real good, chop them up, boom, eat them, and help your body out if you're not feeling well. Please, more power to you with that as well. But we're talking about supplementation, and unfortunately, we have an industry, we have a society, we have a world right now, the world we live in. Our food has been tampered with and messed with. Okay, over farming, what have you. There's a lot of different reasons behind it. Even with trying to force people to go into veganism because they want to get rid of the cows because of global warming, what have you. Even with that, the stuff they have to do to the land is a lot of over processing, over farming, and a lot of nutrients is being pulled out of the soil. It's a doggone disaster, and so we're not getting key nutrients that our body needs in our food anymore. If you have the ability to do so, again, more power to you. But it's not happening. It's rare, right? Unless you have you understand what you're going, and you don't talk about. Let's not forget about food deserts in the inner cities and things like that. They don't have grocery stores hardly available to them, right? For whatever reason, right? Draw the conclusion how you will. For whatever reason, they don't have it. So many people in this world, especially United States, even with the obesity epidemic that's going on, which now they're saying is disease, even with the obesity epidemic that's going on, how we're seeing right now, just because you're overweight, you're still starving for nutrition. Okay, you're not getting nutrition now with the influx of mukbanging. It's getting out of control. Okay, so there's a changes have to happen, but we do need key nutrients in our body, and sometimes supplementation is more important. But if you don't know how to navigate through these things, you're not going to get the proper nutrients that your body truly needs. Okay. Now, with that being said, again, I'm jumping on these soapboxes today. Um, now, not all form of nutrients are equally utilized by the body. So if you need to know that, for example, um, activated B vitamins, chelated minerals, whole food derived ingredients, these things, usually reflects a scientific understanding of nutrient and utilization. Okay, I am going to pause right there. We're going to take a pause for the cause, and we're going to go have a little quick word from our sponsor, and then we'll be back after these messages. Stay tuned.
When the body's fed right, it responds right back. No crash, no fade, just strength on track. Muscle Max Creatine, tried and true. Balance inside of you. Fuel that the science has proven. Create the inner power with creatine. Just steady growth, strong routines. Muscle Max Creatine with Balanced Life supplements at balancedlifesubs.com.
All right. So welcome back. Did you miss me? Anyway. So again, we're talking about supplementation and one of the best how to basically research your supplementation to make sure you're taking the best quality products. Okay. Um, Now we're going to talk about some common mistakes consumers make. Okay. One common mistake that drives me nuts, and we do this with our food supply. We do this a lot of times. We do that with a lot of things. Sometimes I think we're backwards in our thinking. Um, we'll choose things based off of price, right? So we'll have, and this isn't everybody, But let me just get a little break example. We'll have shoes that are $200, but then we'll buy, if we're going to buy supplements, we'll find it on the shelf at Walmart for $10, right? Um, yeah, the shoes are great. They'll make your feet feel comfortable, but you're putting something inside your body, right? Or we'll go and we'll get a McDonald's burger, which I don't even know. I haven't had McDonald's in, man, I don't know, about 15 years, um, maybe a little bit longer than that. I'll take that back. I've done like maybe in the beginning of this 15-year journey I was talking about, or 13-year journey, or whatever it is. I had had a craving for a Big Mac one night. I was hungry, and I went out and got a Big Mac or something like that, and it was the worst thing. My stomach was jacked up. But anyway, we'll do stuff like that. Like, I don't know if there's dollar menu anymore, but we'll go eat dollar menu food and have $100 shoes on our feet, or now like $200 shoes. I'd rather spend a little more money to get some food that's good quality, right? That had parents, right? Good vegetables. I'd rather, if I can help it, not buy fruits and vegetables in the stores. I'll tell you the truth, if I could really own a farm or something, I would rather do that to grow my own food. That's gonna be your best bet if you can grow your own food. If you have my own, if you eat chicken, I don't eat chicken anymore, but if you eat chicken, to actually have your chicken roaming around and grazing around, cows, what have you, you can do this stuff yourself. That's going to be honestly the best way, because now you really know what you're putting into your body. But when we start doing stuff, choosing things based off of price only, you setting yourself up for a problem. Because here's the one thing that I tell a lot of people. Um, People talk about how expensive it is to eat, how expensive it is to be healthy. Well, you know what else is expensive? Doctor bills. Medication that you're going to have to constantly take for the rest of your life if you're not. I feel like, look, I think we're, let me get a little close to you. I think we're friends right now. We acquaintances, we know each other. I can tell you 100% off top, 100% face to face, that if we're eating garbage, what do you think is going to happen next? Right? We already talked about how heart disease. I'm sorry. Um, yeah, heart disease is the number one killer in the entire world, not just the United States, the entire world. So, and then what happens when you get on these heart disease pills? Well, not you. It starts with, how does it start with? You have your cholesterol is bad. You gotta they put you on a statin, and that's the journey you take, and then you take more and more and more drugs. Well, that stuff is not cheap. So why not just take care of your health from Jump Street? Maybe it might cost a little more money. Prioritize it, and then honestly, and then save yourself from a life later on in life's heartache when you have to take medication. That's just my. See, I'm back on the soapbox again. See, I don't know what you guys are doing to me, but you guys got me on the soapbox a lot today. All right, and I think you need to stop it. Okay, I really think that's what needs to happen right now. But anyway, let's go back. So, biggest problem mistake, we choosing by price. Stop that. All right. Many consumers look only at the price tag. Oh, it says $5. That's $20 right there. Oh, that's $40 right there. No, right? Lower prices can sometimes reflect lower ingredient quality. Okay. I wish I could echo this thing. Lower prices can sometimes reflect, and I would say more often than little, lower ingredient quality, minimal testing, if any at all, and high volume manufacturing shortcuts. So basically, it's like you're getting hot dogs within supplements. Hot dogs are supplements. You don't know what's in it, but goodness, it gets the job done. It might get you full. Oh, you're just taking supplements because I'm taking supplements because it says take supplements. But you're buying hot dog supplements, right? You're buying uh, dog food supplements. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to paint a picture here. Price alone does not determine quality, people, but extremely low prices can be a warning sign. So that should be another red flag. If the price is too good, you know the saying, grandma, parents, mom, dad used to tell you, usually if it's too good to be true, it usually is. If this product is really cheap, that doesn't mean anything about the price sometimes either, because sometimes you can go in a GNC or vitamin shop and the price is extremely expensive, but there's no third party testing, what have you, right? You really have to do your research. And what I would say before again, we have a computer in our hands, as they tell us, is stronger than the computer they used to go to the moon. Um, we we have to really be diligent about what we're doing and putting in our body. If I can't preach anything else to you, that's what I would preach to you. Please be diligent about what you put in your body. Right? The There's certain industries out here that are banking that we're not going to check on what we're putting in our body, because when we don't do that, then we end up in a hospital, and now not only are we a patient, but we're a customer. Right? You're a customer one way or the other. You're gonna be customers for supplementation or proper food. You're gonna be a customer for um, pharmaceutical drugs for the rest of your life. Choice is yours. Anyway, getting back to what we're talking about here. So again, price does not determine quality. Okay. One other mistake we make is assuming that all supplements are equal. Like assuming all food is equal. Assuming all clothes are equal. Right. For those of you, um, I don't know what. Don't get me to line about what any of the okay. Um, I'm starting to get into watches a little bit more. I used to wear I don't have one on right now, but I used to wear a smartwatch only for like the last 4 or 5 years. And all the smartwatches are good, they're fun, they can do a lot of different things. But when you go into the watch game, man, that's a different story. Now they have watches, there's so many watches out there, it's not even funny. There's some of the watches range from like $20, $30, right? And you know, you got the watches that's in the thousands of dollars, right? So when you can't assume, and nobody's in their right mind is going to assume a Rolex is the same as a generic watch you get on Amazon called Current. I've seen this one, Current. Or even if you go up the ladder a little bit, like Bulova is one of the watches, Movado, um, Citizen, right? Those other upper end watches that's in a couple of $100 range ain't the same thing as a Rolex, right? It ain't the same as a Rolex, right? There's other watches that continue. I don't know all the names of it, but I'm just giving you an example. So all supplements, just like all watches, are not created equal. Man, oh man, goodness. Let me go ahead with the analogies, boy. But I hope you understand what I'm saying to you. Okay, 2 bottles labeled vitamin B complex could be dramatically different. Okay, factors that may different, again, ingredient forms, testing standards, manufacturing quality, and purity verification. Right. Um, that's why they do things. There could even be clones of watches. I don't even. I'm sorry. I'm on this watch kick right now. There could be clones of watches. There's people that know how to make really good. If you did not know better, they got really good uh, clones of Rolexes. But there's that testing. They gotta test it. They gotta test it and make sure it's against the same, how it hitting the same qualities what Rolex is known for. And it may look nice. And I'm not saying don't buy a clone watch. You know, I might buy me a clone Rolex. I don't know. But I know one thing: I'm not going to try and take that to the Rolex store to see if I can get to sell it to them. I'm not going to do that. That'd be have me arrested. But the supplements, they do that. People think that the supplements are all the same. Nope, nope, nope. Your food is not all the same. Your food is not. The clothes are not all the same. Quality is quality, right? Quantity is quantity. You want quality over quantity. Okay. Um, Labels can look similar, but formulation and quality control makes the difference, right? You've seen your labels when they've had quality control on the labels. Quality control is something huge, man. And we should all have that mentality. If we're creating, if you business owners out there, if you have a business, you want your quality to be up through the roof, unless you're trying to be a scammer like some of these um, foreign call centers. It's like, ooh, one time I'll tell you a story what I heard on that one, but I'm not gonna go on that now. But anyway, you want to be really conscious about these things when you're putting stuff into your body. You only get one of these bodies, man. That's why it's so important. That's why I talk about this so much because we um, we only go around once, unless you really believe in reincarnation. But you still got to go through this journey you're in, right? We only go around once. Why would you want to go around and put garbage in your body, right? Garbage in your body. And again, if you don't need supplementation, okay, this conversation is not for you. But I hope that so if the same idea and mentality you're taking through your food, right? Putting good quality whole foods, all that type of stuff in your body, it's the same thing you want to do with everything in life. Again, we only go around once. And why would you want to put something subpar into your body? Something that's going to cause you harm. And unfortunately, we've been listening to so many people just blindly following other industries, other people, um, just because they're wearing a white coat, right? We're blindly following these people, and sometimes these people don't love you like you love yourself. They don't have your best interest at heart, right? Again, trust but verify. All right. Um, one of the things that we want, I think you want to avoid is ignoring the manufacturer, right? I've been talking about ingredients, but sometimes we have people, we only focus on the ingredient and not who made the product, where was it manufactured, what testing was performed. Now, a lot of you guys out there in social media land and the internet world, um, I'm sure you've seen the videos. If you haven't, go search them out. I'm sure you've seen the videos of how the canned Christmas cookies are possibly, allegedly, being made, right, in a country, um, on the floor by feet, right? Very nasty practices, allegedly. Um, you might, I mean, although if you have ever had those Christmas cookies throughout every season, some nice look forward to those things, man. You get that little that blue tin of cookies, and you got all the different types of shapes in them. But where is it being made? And if you look on the back of it, it'll tell you what country it's being made from, especially if you're seeing those videos. And that's all. I'm not going to go any deeper into that, but you know, usually when people tell you what they are, who they are, you believe it. You know, you know, just believe it a little bit. Um, I think. Oh boy, I'm sorry, I'm clowning today. But anyway, you want to really be mindful, right? Where was it manufactured? What testing was performed, if any? Was any testing performed? Who did the testing? Right? What did they find? You can go on plenty of websites. Do you ask for them? They'll tell you, man, that the third party tested by who, boom, blah, 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 tested for this, that, and the third, right? Um, sometimes it'll take a little longer, but again, if the information comes out that this happened, you know what will happen? Many of these companies will have class action lawsuits against them. Okay, that doesn't stop them from continuing making their product, though. I'm just saying. All right, so we talked about that, but let's talk about why quality matters. Why does it matter? When consumers choose supplements, they should think beyond marketing. Man, oh man, marketing is a beautiful thing, right? We have advertisements on this show. Advertisements are all over the place. You watch Super Bowl, man. They said I don't know if it's still the same. It might be more right now, but one commercial is about $1 million, and it's just for you to get you to eat Doritos, what have you, right? But then you look at the ingredients. Anyway, it's right. You should think beyond the marketing. Sometimes the marketing is fun. A lot of those A lot of those insurance commercials are great, but how good are those commercials? How good are those companies when it comes to paying out in the case of an accident? Right? It's very very important. But marketing is can be make things look better than what they are. Okay, that's why marketing is there, right? And a lot of times marketing is done by a lot of psychology. Psychology is used a lot in the marketing because they're trying to really um, see what the consumers like, and they play off of that. That's why when you look at your cell phone, if you're talking around your cell phone, um, you could be talking about going on a trip, and then next thing you know, out of the blue, um, plane airfares start popping up in your commercials. Let's, if anybody could tell me what happened, why is there so many commercials on like TikTok and those places? I can't even be on them things no more. Every time I turn on, I could be watching it on Facebook, watching the video on Facebook, just enjoying having a little unwinding time. And in the middle of the video, it'll stop and a commercial will come on, the ad will come on. That's quite annoying. But anyway, again, back on my soapbox. Let me step down. So start thinking beyond the marketing and look at the quality standards, right? Because they help ensure purity, consistency, responsible manufacturing, consumer trust, right? You can't trust something if A, it doesn't work, and B, when you find out maybe it did work, right? Then you find out that it said nothing. I mean, or it lied. It says nothing that it had lead and arsenic in it, right? That's going to ruin the trust. Well, I guess in some cases, because there there have been so many stories coming about um, the fast food industry, especially as of late. But a lot of these things have been mentioned years ago. I mean, people have sat there and made videos about them pulling out their very first McDonald's from the 1990s till today, and it's like still looks like the burger, um, what it was way back then when they first got it. No decomposition. Your food should decompose after like a week, especially if it's sitting out. But you know, that's you want it to just to you want what you're buying that you could trust it. It's got consumer trust in your mind, right? Um, the standards. Gone are the days. I sound like my mom sometimes. Gone are the days when things were actually people actually created stuff, good quality stuff, and stood by their product. Okay. Supplements are part of a larger lifestyle. Supplements are part of a larger lifestyle that includes nutrition, exercise, and healthy habits. You're not going to, and that's the other thing. All these things have to come together as a nice cohesive blend of exercise, nutrition, healthy habits, and then supplementation. All those things have to come together. Again, supplementation is only a way to supplement what you're missing in your diet. If you're trying to lose weight, sometimes supplementation, protein powder, so what, so forth and so on, and they're grateful. I mentioned to you, great benefits. If you're on a goal, a mission to try and put 180 grams of protein in your diet on a daily basis because you want to build muscle, because you want to lose weight, whatever the case may be. Again, protein is a part of that. Um, but you don't want to overstuff your calories. Boom, quick protein shake, 25 extra grams of protein on top of the 175 or 150 you already have for the day. You hit your goal without adding on extra calories, and you're doing good, right? It's really important. Um, Creatine, these type of proteins has been around for a long time. Vitamin C is another great way to help improve your immune system. I can go on and on and on and on. But again, if you're not getting these things from your diet, supplementation is going to actually help with that. But again, it's a nice cohesion because you're already working toward a healthy lifestyle. All right. So I think I've rambled on long enough today. So before I go, let me just leave you with this. We have to make sure we have informed decision making about no matter what we're putting onto our body, onto our skin. Again, we only get one of these things, right? And we want to not be so careless and cavalier with our body as best as we possibly can. Okay. When I'm not talking about the accidents, I'm not talking about things that are out of our control. As you have control over certain things, you really want to be mindful as much as possible. Don't let anybody tell you that it's hard. Don't convince yourself that it's hard. Don't convince yourself that you can't do it. If you can do it, it's just going to take more than motivation. Again, motivation is one of the most flakiest um, um, emotions that there possibly is. Dedication, discipline, right? Is going to be what you want to do, and that doesn't that. For those of you who got your degree, you know it took dedication and discipline. You didn't want to study, you did it anyway. Those of you who are constantly working out, you know it does not. That's not the motivation about that. That is dedication and discipline, right? You're a fighter, you're a boxer, you're an athlete. Dedication, discipline. How many times I'm an ex-athlete? I told you I used to run track. So many times I did not want to go out there. I was a little crazy though, but sometimes I didn't want to go out there. Didn't want to hit those miles. I didn't want to hit none of that stuff. I want to do the fun stuff. But you got to do those things to prepare yourself, right? So if I had to say anything that other than that's something else you want to take away from the day, try not to feel overwhelmed. Take the overwhelmed feeling out of your body, especially in the beginning. I know it can be overwhelming in the beginning when you are looking into stuff, you are trying to try new things out, especially if you've not done this stuff before, especially if you're trying to, maybe you've been hit with a the news about maybe about a certain medical condition that just popped up that when you went to go get tested, now you have this thing. Don't get overwhelmed and do not get what do you call it? Do not give up. Right now, more than ever, you have to take the nice steps and really try to really focus on your health. Right? We should all be doing it anyway to prevent these things. But once you have them, now you still do your best possible way to manage, or in some cases, people talk about it, get rid of. But you can't keep doing the same thing that got you in that position. So none of us consumers should not be overwhelmed or should not feel overwhelmed. Okay. Instead, remember these few key principles. Look for GMP manufacturing. Okay. Look for third-party testing. Look for transparent ingredient labels. Every single thing on the ingredients is on there. They have apps, I think it's Yuka. I'm not sure what the app, but anyway, you can scan the barcodes of your food and anything, and it'll give you a good grade about whether it's good or not. But take the time to read your labels, no matter what it is. Right? Many people are constantly don't even look at their labels of their clothes that they buy. They spend a lot of money on this stuff made out of polyester, which, if you really research, some of those fabrics that you put on your body actually disrupt this chemical signal of your skin. Disrupt the hormone disruptors, right? Chobani, oh my God, there's a yoga company, Chobani, that just came out and said they had hormone disruptors in their doggone yogurt. And it's yogurt. Yogurt's good for you. So again, please read your labels, okay? And then look for thoughtful formulations. I'll repeat it one more time. GMP manufacturing, good manufacturing practices, third-party testing, transparent ingredient labels, and thoughtful formulations. You gotta look for all that. Okay? When we take the time to evaluate supplement quality or quality period, we are better equipped to choose products that align with our health goals and personal standards. Now, if you don't have any personal standards, then you're not going to you're not going to it's not going to connect for you. But instead of having a personal standard or preferences or standards for men or women that we date, but we should have standards about our health first and foremost. Because again, we only get one multiple many times throughout life. Many of us, which I think is not a good look anyway. But many of us have multiple relationships. We only get one health, one body. All right. So, with that being said, I hope and first of all, I appreciate you taking the time out and listening to this. Um, Please like, share, subscribe, share. Get this out to people. Let people listen to you. If you've been if you've been a part of this whole thing, talking to somebody about health and supplementation, share this information. It's going to be very helpful, not just to the podcast, but again, it's going to be helpful to helping people live a longer, healthier life. Again, nothing here today that I said was any type of medical advice whatsoever. It was all for educational purposes only. And with that being said, my name is Dr. Chris Byles. I am your host. Thank you for coming and joining me for a balanced life. Until next time, stay balanced, stay healthy. Let's live longer, baby. All right. Till next time.
Thanks for listening to A Balanced Life with your host, Dr. Chris Byles.
Take care of your body, your mind, and your spirit.
Keep moving forward. See you next time.